What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as Ridemyavatar, and today we're going to be going over none other than a deck that can be played with just needing just the Tournament Pack 5 cards. So let's dive right into the video and talk about JellyForce. So let's dive into the deck profile, shall we? First off, we play one Wanyamon. Wanyamon. So while your opponent has 2 or more Digimon with no Digi-Evolution sources in play, this Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. He's just a backup rookie. We're not really playing him for more than just the added DP boost because we have another DP booster from the trial deck, DemiVeemon. So while there are 8 or more cards in your hand, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP, allowing you to gain extra power in our swings because the way we're playing this is an OTK style deck, so it has potential, especially in this format because of the way what tamers we use, stuff like that. So let's continue, shall we? So first off, another big boy, big girl as we'll say, our good girl Jellymon. This card is a promo from the new Tournament Pack 5. So this card says, while you have Kiyoshiro, the blue tamer that is hers, in play, draw a card when attacking. It's once per turn, but it does help us reach thresholds like our 8 requirements, stuff like that. So as long as we have her tamer, Kiyoshiro, I'm not going to pronounce that. That's just a Japanese name that I'm never going to pronounce correctly. So, I mean, hey, we got Jellymon here. She's just mainly in here to gain us draw advantage and all that good stuff. Next, we do play another thing from the trial deck. So remember the trial deck's Veemon that has the ability to warp into UlforceVeedramon for 4? So, well, we're going to use him even here. So if your opponent has a level 6 or higher in play, this Digimon can Digivolve into an UlforceVeedramon in your hand for a memory cost 4, ignoring its Digi-Evolution requirements. And then if you have 7 or fewer cards in your hand, trigger draw 1. So this is repetitive until you reach the 8. So if you've already burned through a lot of your hand or anything like that, it's good because he's not once per turn. So it's solid here. I think this Veemon is very good. I mean, in the Japanese list itself, which is basically this minus like added like 2 cards, I think all in all, it's a very solid list. And then we do play EX1's Veemon. So this card here literally says, once per turn, when this Digimon unsuspends during your main phase, gain 1 memory. So basically what you're doing is gaining that extra memory, gaining the extra power, giving your ability to extend your plays, and just go off from there. So that's kind of our rookie lineup. It is very interesting. We don't have Mulligan, but the list kind of just came from Japan like this. I think all in all, it does what it needs to, especially since this is playable in BT8. So, I mean, hey. Next, we do play one Kumamon because Tamer hybrid swing game is still viable. I mean, he strips a source, which is okay, but it's just the Tamer hybrid game kind of status. We like that. Next, we do play Cordraman. So this card is great if he pops out of security. Even if we had to hard play him, which we really don't want to, we can trigger draw 2. So it's not bad, but he's great when he comes out of security just to give us more card advantage and just stuff like that. I mean, you could definitely take him out if you feel like he's just not necessary, but that is just on your personal opinion. Next, we do play from the trial deck yet again Veedramon. So when you have 8 or more cards in your hand, return one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon to its owner's hand. Trash all Digi-Evolution cards to their trash. So I mean, he's great because he'll get rid of all those pesky things that just shut you down, like the Sayokomons, the Madoki Betas, stuff like that. If you see those coming across, at least you can bounce it and remove it off the board state, which does help out in the long game. Next, we do play 2 Veedramon 0. So this is from the promo back in the day. So when attacking, if you have a blue tamer in play, trash the top 3 cards of your deck. This Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. It's really good if you want to gain early advantage and swing in and hit a little bit harder. It does help out because we also play another card that might help out in the long game. But when attacking, if you play you may place 3 non-Digi Egg cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck to draw a card. So basically he has draw advantage, and it's not once per turn. So just keep that in mind. Next, we do play another Veedramon here. This Veedramon, so while you have a blue Tamer in play, this Digimon gains jamming. So basically what we could do is use the red cards we're going to be spicing in here, and he can swing in with 2 security checks, no issues. I mean, with jamming, we're really liking that. The only thing he's going to be fearful of is option cards, but early game, stuff like that really does help out. Next, we do have AeroVeedramon. This is from the classic sets. I mean, from the OGs, you know, BT2 or BT1.5. So, when Digivolving, if you have a blue Tamer play, unsuspend one of your blue Digimon. So basically, if let's say we've swung in with the Veedramon here, we swing in, he's had jamming, we've given it the lightning joust, it's swung in 2. If we still have more memory to play with, we can Digivolve on top of this, and then we can unsuspend it. So, I mean, he's huge, and then he's gaining the extra swings in. But if this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, it gains jamming. He's in here for that extra jamming ability, because we love having the ability to swing in without any consequences and only have to worry about options. But even then, we don't mind. Then we have AeroVeedramon from the starter deck. Base jamming. And then your turn, if you have 8 or more cards in your hand, this Digimon gains security +1. So basically, he's going to give us extra swings when we're going into our UlforceVeedramon plays. So he's a good base there, and he's a good base there. So either or really does help out, and it just can really ramp up the playstyle. Next, we are playing for Veedramon UlforceVeedramon. So this one is if one of your blue Tamers becomes suspended, unsuspend this Digimon. So we have plenty of blue Tamers that are just going to suspend themselves, and then he's going to restand. Then your turn, when this Digimon becomes unsuspended during your main phase, gain 1 memory, and then it's once per turn. So it's not terrible. I mean, it extends our plays, which could mean a Kumamon at the end of all these swings, or we can just go into Blitz Omni. That'll just swing for game as well. So it's just all in all great, you know, OTK potential with this deck. Another OTK deck doesn't hurt the format. I mean, you're going to have to get used to it because we're going to be seeing more and more of these anyway as we get into later formats. But, I mean, hey, once we get into OTK format, you're going to want to be OTKing, right? I think that's kind of like the strategy you want to have in mindset. So, I think that with that kind of talk here, I know that Blitz Omni has self-protection, but again, he's in here for the Blitz swing game and because he can unsuspend himself and just win you the game that way. Next, let's talk about the Tamer. We have Kiyoshiro, big last name, but so when you attack with the Digimon that has Jellymon in your Digievolution cards, you may suspend this Tamer and to have that Digimon gain jamming. So basically, what we're going to do is if we can get a stack with Jellymon underneath it our force with the extra security checks, we can have it have jamming, and then we only have to worry about possibly just needing a dedicated plan, and boom, we're now punishing our opponent greatly for that. So I think that's all in all what we want to think about. Then we have Rina. Rina is UlforceVeedramon's kind of go-to Tamer usually. When one of your blue Digimon attacks, you may suspend this Tamer to give it plus 1000 DP for the turn, and then on play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with V in its name among them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of the deck in any order. So yes, we might be walking into Black War Greymon a little bit, but it does help out ever so slightly just to be able to search our pieces and stuff like that. Then we do have Hiro. Hiro's really good because if you have 2 memory or less, set your memory to 3. But when a Digimon attacks that has Gamamon in its name or is a level 5 or higher, you may suspend this Tamer to give for this Tamer to have one of your Digimon get plus 2000 DP for the turn. So that means our UlforceVeedramon can swing in multiple times with big numbers and then clear out so much security. Especially this can get over at times yellow security stack, which could be ridiculously high. So, I mean, under right circumstances, we can give it enough power to swing in multiple times and clear out so much security. We OTK them, and they're done for. Next, we have Taichi V-Tamer. So this card has a couple options here. If you have a Tamer with Veedramon in it, if you have a Digimon with Veedramon in its name, you may spend this Tamer to activate one of the following effects. Give one of your Digimon 1000 DP, or trigger draw 1. So if we don't have jamming on it, we can climb up and go over in power, or we can go and just do normal draw advantage and get to Blitz Omni or the Kumamon or anything else we might need. So it's just thinking ahead wise, there's just so much advantage this combo pieces here has. It's not even funny. So that's just what we're going to go with. Next, we have Hammer Spark at 2, just because Hammer Spark is great if it's hidden security, gains you 2 memory, could mean passing turn on them and bringing it to your turn. Just all in all great stuff. And then we do play Blue Memory Booster. It extends our plays because of the gain 2 memory. This one gives 1, but also can add a blue Digimon card to our hand, and that will definitely help us out in the long game. So that's kind of what we want to do anyway, is just gain more advantage, get to our combo pieces, and that's kind of how we're going to play it out. Next, we do have a dedicated plan. A dedicated plan is really useful because it shuts off options, and that's really what we want to do. We want to be able to swing in, not worry about options, because our jamming should be able to handle this department. But sometimes we might be on a weird janky stack, and that's going to be really a problem there. The real jankiness about it is that we're going to have, Veemon into UlforceVeedramon. That is a possibility play. That means you're going to have a weird janky stack. So just keep that in mind. We also play 2 Lightning Jousts because early game pressure really good, but late game, if you have this, especially when they're playing against like yellow hybrid, at least you can security check multiple times. This could be 3 security checks on an UlforceVeedramon. This could be 2 security checks on any of your other Veedramons. I mean, this could mean there's just not enough play potential that you cannot say this isn't good. And then 1 Cocytus Breath. So Cocytus Breath is always useful because being able to remove, annoyancy threats off the board, especially if they hit it in securities, are really good, and it just could set your opponent back a couple turns. So guys, what did you think of this list? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!